What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and already this morning there is a lot going on. I've got a lot of video footage and stuff to get you caught up on with stimulus checks, everything going on in Congress with voting rights, legislation. This is your stimulus check update. Now, first up, you guys, take a look at this. We're hearing we are one step closer to potentially monthly reoccurring stimulus checks. That's right. Take a look. I shared with you in a previous video that Florida Democrat who won the special elections after promising $1,000 checks, and she was saying this was going to be on a monthly reoccurring basis. Well, this morning, take a look, you guys. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi swore her into office. She is now a member of the House of Representatives and another voice that is pushing for reoccurring checks. I'm going to share with you the video footage, and also, you guys, today we're hearing that the Senate, they are moving forward with the voting rights legislation. And today we heard from Bernie Sanders, and he's saying the Republicans and Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are pathetic for not getting on board. That is right. I'm going to share with you the video footage that he released saying this, and that's not all. Take a look at what else he had to say. Sanders said that he's open to supporting primary challengers against Manchin and Sinema. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. He's saying, listen, they're not going to get on board to support the Democratic agenda. Get them out of here. And whoever wants to replace them, I'll support them. Wow. Bernie Sanders not holding back, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Now, we are hearing they are going to be voting on this today. Take a look at this article, you guys. Senate Democrats march forward on their all but doomed voting rights bill. And that is because they don't have Manchin and Sinema on board, and they need all Democrats in the Senate, all 50 of them, to pass this through. But, you guys, we're hearing that even though it's all but doomed, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying that they are going to do this. Take a look at this clip here. I'm going to share with you the entire footage later on in the video, but just take a look at this small clip. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer saying it is going down today.
And win, lose, or draw, members of this chamber were elected to debate and to vote. And win, lose, or draw, we are going to vote, especially on an issue as vital to the beating heart of our democracy as voting rights. We are not stopping. This is too important. This is sacred.
So there you have it, you guys. I'm going to share with you the entire footage here in just a second, but let's dive right in and get you caught up on the latest. A lot unfolding. And also wanted to let you know that the second video on the new channel is going to be released here very soon. I'm going to be covering for you something new that's creating tons of millionaires right now, and that is what's happening in the metaverse with people buying digital real estate, investing in cryptocurrencies, and a lot that's unfolding in that area. And also, there's going to be a special guest appearance in that video you're not going to want to miss, you guys. So we're going to be taking a look at that here this week. I'm going to be releasing that video for anybody that's interested, and that is the Steve Ram Finance channel for anyone interested in growing wealth and personal finance. And I hope those videos are a blessing for you guys. But right now, let's get you caught up on economic news and what's unfolding in Congress today. And let's start off by smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Just takes a second, really helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. Come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. Best way by far to get a hold of me, you guys. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, you guys, so first up, let's talk about stimulus checks. Now, as you know, there have been 3 federal level checks. We had $1,200, $600, and $1,400. Now, a fourth one is something that a lot of people would like to see, but it's currently not being discussed in Congress very much at this time. And we're going to wait to see what's going to unfold with the pandemic and the economy to see if that gets on their plates. Now, at this time, they are discussing more stimulus packages for businesses, for fighting the pandemic. Right now, Congress and the president are calling for more spending provisions. Now, Republicans are opposed to it. We're going to be seeing what unfolds here. You'll see if Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema get on board. But we just had another representative enter into the House that is pushing for more checks. Take a look, you guys. After a largely self-financed campaign that promised universal basic income from the government of $1,000 a month to those making $75,000 a year or less, Democrat Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick won special elections last week, and she was sworn in today. Take a look, you guys.
We're very honored to welcome our newest member of Congress with all of the enthusiasm that she brings from her beautiful story that she told on the floor of the House. Welcome to Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick. Congratulations on your victory. Now we're going to go where Congresswoman will be sworn in as a member of the Congressional Black Caucus in the Congress. It's pretty exciting. And it's even more exciting that that swearing in will take place in front of the statue of Rosa Parks.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
So there you have it, and congratulations to her. She is the first Haitian American representative in Congress. And also, you guys, we're going to be seeing what unfolds with that, as she will be another voice vocalizing that the American people need monthly reoccurring checks during this pandemic. Now, also today, as I mentioned, in the Senate, they're going to be talking about voting rights legislation, and we're hearing it's going to be happening today. Now, we're hearing that this bill is all but doomed, as we had mentioned, and that is because they don't have Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin on board. We'll take a look at this video footage of what Bernie Sanders had to say on that today, and he outright says what is happening is pathetic. Take a look, you guys.
Tomorrow, the Senate is going to be casting an enormously important vote. And that vote has to do whether or not we preserve the foundations of American democracy, or whether we allow Republican governors and legislatures all across this country to suppress the vote, to impose extreme gerrymandering, to attack independent elected officials, all of which the goal is to make it harder for people to vote, people who will vote against Republicans. It is an outrage. And tomorrow we have the opportunity to overturn what these governors and legislatures are doing. And in one way, this is a very complicated issue, constitutional aspects, et cetera, et cetera. On the other hand, it's a pretty simple issue. And that is, tomorrow, will we vote to allow majority to rule 50 votes plus the vice president, or will we maintain the archaic and undemocratic process of needing 60 votes to pass this bill? That's what tomorrow is about. Now, right now, every Republican will be voting against us, and that's pretty pathetic. But what's equally pathetic, as of now, 2 Democrats will be voting against us as well. And I would hope very much that those 2 Democrats, Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin, will rethink their position and understand that the foundations of American democracy are at stake. And I hope they will join 48 of us and allow us to win this enormously important vote. Thank you.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, saying that if they don't get on board, they're pretty pathetic. Let me know if you think that's going to convince them to get on board. Now, also, I shared with you that he also said he wouldn't be surprised if they had challengers, and if they did, he would support the challengers, because right now they are not helping the Democratic Party push through their agenda. Take a look, you guys. Link in the description below. Senator Bernie Sanders thinks there's a good chance Senators Manchin and Sinema will face challenges in the future Democratic primaries, and says he will be open to supporting their opponents. Asked about the likelihood of Manchin and Sinema being challenged by other Democrats, Sanders indicated that he thinks there's a very good chance of that happening, though he observed it's up to the people of those states. So as you know, they are elected by the people of the states. So no matter how much they don't like them, there's nothing they can do about it. They are elected officials. And asked if he would be open to supporting the challenger, Sanders answered bluntly, "Yes, I would." Wow, you guys. So as you know, right now the way the Senate is structured, in order for them to pass this through with the process of reconciliation, any vote that any bill, that legislation they like to pass, it has to get the majority vote through reconciliation. And the way the Senate is structured is 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans, split 50-50. So for them to pass it through with a majority vote, they literally need every single senator to vote in favor, and then the tie-breaking vote would go to Vice President Kamala Harris. So if they lose just one vote right now, Democrats, to pass through this legislation, they lose the entire thing. And right now we're hearing there are 2 that are not on board. Now, despite that, as I mentioned to you guys, they're saying they're going to be voting on this and they're going to try to still push this through. Take a look, you guys. Link in the description below to this article that came out today that says Senate Democrats on Wednesday will try to get closer to a floor vote on the 2 voting rights bills that have sat inactive for months in the chamber despite having no apparent path to victory on the legislation. Now, the Senate had to cancel a planned recess this week to debate on the 2 bills, and the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, which are all but guaranteed to fail. Senate Democrats got around a GOP filibuster to start debate on the measure, but under current rules, they would still need 60 votes to end the debate to proceed to a vote. Doing so is a dim prospect given that Republicans unified opposition to them. Now, Democrats hold a slim technical majority in the chamber. Each party holds 50, but Vice President Kamala Harris, a Democrat, would act as the tiebreaker in an event of a voting impasse. And right now, you guys, we're hearing Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer saying they are full speed ahead on this. Take a look at the video footage that came out on what he had to say yesterday on them getting it done today.
For the first time, this is the very first time today that Congress has been debating a bill to protect voting rights on the Senate floor, on the Freedom to Vote Act and the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement. And win, lose, or draw, members of this chamber were elected to debate and to vote. And win, lose, or draw, we are going to vote, especially on an issue as vital to the beating heart of our democracy as voting rights. Democrats have tried for months to hold a voting rights debate on the floor, but we have been blocked each time by Republicans. This is a step forward, but there's still a lot of work to do. Now, as we debate these measures, the Senate is going to confront a critical question. Shall the members of this chamber do what is necessary to pass these bills and move them to the President's desk? The struggle for voting rights is one of the sagas in America. In 1789, in most states, you had to be a white male Protestant property owner to vote. That might leave out most of the people here and here. And there we have had an inexorable push for the right to vote. The right to vote is vital, and both the proponents and opponents know it. I'm reading the biography of Grant. The white Southerners, the number one thing they wanted to prevent the freed slaves from doing is voting above anything else because they knew it was power. And we've had steps forward, and then we've had steps back. And unfortunately, right now, with the Republican legislatures, we're in the midst of a large step back. So, Senate Democrats we are going to fight the fight. Fight the fight. We're under no illusion. We know this is an uphill fight, especially when virtually every Senate Republican, to their shame, is staunchly against any legislation to protect the right to vote. But I want to be clear. When this chamber confronts a question this important, one so vital to our country, to our democracy, with its long history, you don't just say, never mind, it's too hard. You keep pushing, you keep working, you keep fighting. And that's what we've been doing, that's what we are doing, and that's what we will continue to do. It's been a long, hard road to get to this point. All the members here and many others, because this has been such strong strength in our caucus, unity in our caucus, have worked hard on these bills. The Senate spent an entire year drafting, considering, and debating voting rights legislation. Senate Republicans have spent the same amount of time refusing to negotiate with our members, including Senator Manchin, or even debate this legislation. Over the past year, as you know, Republican-controlled legislatures have worked to pass legislation that would make it harder for Americans to vote following the president's big lie. And it's particularly aimed at people of color, at poor people, at young people, at disabled people, at elderly people, at people who live in cities. It's not aimed across the board. You know that, and we know that. It's an effort to jaundice the entire election process. If the Senate cannot protect the right to vote, which is the cornerstone of our democracy, then the Senate rules must be reformed. Must be reformed. If the Republicans block cloture on the legislation before us, I will put forward a proposal to change the rules to allow for a talking filibuster on this legislation, as recommended by a number of our colleagues who have been working on this reform for a long time. Historically, changes to the Senate rules have been necessary to adapt to changed circumstances. Even Senator Byrd, a traditionalist, said just that. To address voting rights in a timely fashion, there's an opportunity to do exactly that, to change the Senate rules, to promote a public debate that is restorative of the Senate's long-standing two-speech limit. We feel very simply, on something as important as voting rights, if Senate Republicans are going to oppose it, they should not be allowed to sit in their office. They got to come down on the floor and defend their opposition to voting rights, the wellspring of our democracy. And there's broad, strong feeling in our caucus about that. Once members of the minority party have exhausted all of their speaking rights and defended their position on the Senate floor, the debate will have run its course, and the Senate will move to vote on final passage at a majority threshold, which has always been the threshold for final passage. I hope every senator will embrace this practical reform. Dr. King said to us, keep fighting. They tried to pass voting rights bills year after year after year. 1964, they couldn't get it. They kept fighting, and they got it in 65. This process today is another step forward in the march to voting rights. We ain't giving up. You're going to hear from us plenty as we continue on this issue. And again, to anyone who says, oh, well, you may not win, don't do it, look at history. Look at history. If you keep fighting, the cause of justice, as Dr. King has said, will be renewed. He used to quote Amos, let justice flow down like the mighty waters. The mighty waters will flow down. You can't stop them. They can be diverted, they can be delayed, but if you keep fighting, they can't be stopped. And we are not stopping. We are not stopping. This is too important. This is sacred. This is vital. This is not just a political fight, which some people like to just talk about. It is a fight for the soul and the future of America. And we are strong, dedicated, and enthusiastic to continue that fight.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, as I mentioned, this is all happening today. So a lot happening in Congress. They're going to be trying to push through this legislation for voting rights. Also, we're hearing that talks are happening behind the scenes with Build Back Better. As I mentioned to you in yesterday's video, they're going to be pulling out bits and pieces, trying to see what they can do to break up the stimulus bill to get it passed, to get support from Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. They're also having issues with them on the stimulus reconciliation bill, in addition to the voting rights bills as well, you guys. But I'll be sure to keep you up to date. I'm expecting we're going to be hearing a whole lot more on this today. And like I said, I'll report whatever I hear right away here on the channel so you know what's going on. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second to smash the like button. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. Thank you so much. Also, consider joining the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, if you're interested in growing wealth and personal finance. Second video coming out on that channel this week. If you're interested in staying up to date on economic news here on this channel, totally free to do so. Just hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, I hope this reaches you well, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.